Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for SpiegelMom Scraps using one of the new November sequin mixes. It's called Mermaid Fins and it's really pretty. It's got lovely kind of purples and turquoises in it, really sparkly. And it really reminded me of some of the papers in Vicky Boutin's colour study collection. So I've pulled that out and I've gone through and picked out the papers I had in mind, and they just match perfectly. So I've pulled out a purple, a blue and a kind of teal turquoise colour, and I'm going to keep it quite simple today, and I'm going to cut 3 strips from these papers, one from each, or actually 2 from one of them, but I'll get to that. I'm cutting them 2 inches wide by, 2.5 inches wide by 7 inches long, and I'm going to kind of overlap them in a kind of simple design, focusing in the top right hand corner of the page. So I'm going to kind of have them like that. I've got a square photo printed off that's 3 by 3 inches, and I just wanted to sit at the top there at the point where they all cross over. But I'm going to turn that blue strip into a sequin shaker pocket. So I've just cut another strip of that, exactly the same size, well, almost. I do have to trim a tiny bit off where I went a bit wonky. But the idea is that's going to sit on top, and I'm going to have my sequin shaker backed with the same pattern paper that you see at the front. So I'm taking the top layer here and I'm just going to cut kind of a thin border. I want it to be wide enough that I can use my Big Mama foam tape roll. So just going just over 1/4 of an inch around all the sides and just gutting that centre bit out, and then that will leave me with a frame to make my shaker pocket from. So now I'm just going to work on this shaker pocket. I'm adding red tape to the back of that frame to stick my acetate to, and this stuff you can buy from SpiegelMom as well. So as well as selling really gorgeous sequins, they also sell tear it tape, like the double-sided sticky tape. They sell the red tape, they sell acetate sheets, Big Mama foam tape roll, and they do a set as well. It's like a sequin shaker pocket set where you get everything you need to make shakers. And I'll pop a link in the description box below to the store. If you want to save that link somewhere safe, that will give you 15% off your entire order. And it won't expire, and you can reuse it time and time again. So do save that link somewhere safe, and you get yourself a nice 15% discount at checkout every time you use it. So I've got that tape down, I've stuck my acetate to that, and I've just trimmed the excess off. And now I'm going to go around the reverse of that with the Big Mama foam tape roll. And this stuff is perfect for shaker pockets because it gives you just the right depth. And I'm making sure that all the strips line up, so there's no gaps at all. If I've got gaps, my sequins are going to escape, so I need to make sure that there are no gaps at all. And I'm going to peel the backs of these off, and then I'm going to add my sequins in. I do end up making a right mess of this. I get some of the sequins stuck to the tape, and as I'm trying to pull them off, I end up nudging the whole shaker pocket and sequins fly everywhere. You'll see in a minute. So I'm just being careful, trying to get them off the tape without sort of shaking it too much and more sequins going on the tape. But I do find it easier to peel the backing off and then add my sequins rather than fill it up and then try and get the tape off, because then my sequins just move everywhere. It depends on how you make things and how steady your hands are, I guess. You might find it easier the other way around, but for me, there you go, they go everywhere. Generally I like to peel the backing off first. So I'm just faffing about adding those sequins in. Like I said, this is the Mermaid Fins mix, and it's one of the November releases. So it's already loaded up to the website. That link below will give you 15% off everything, including the sequins. So that's a nice little handy discount to have. And there you go. I finally get there and have my shaker pocket. So I'm just trimming off any excess underneath, so to neaten it up a bit. And then I'm going to work on getting things stuck down now. But before I do, I'm just distressing all the edges of those strips of paper. I should have probably done this before making my shaker pocket. It was quite hard to distress the edge of that pocket with the acetate there, so I end up having to use my scissor blade for that. But no worries, it does work. It's just I had to switch my tools over. But I love distressing edges. It just brings a bit more texture to the page, a bit more interest for me. So I've distressed all of those, and now I'm going to get them stuck into place. And I'm just using double-sided tear it tape for this. This is quite a wide tape, and I'm just going to get all of those in position, and then I can think about embellishing. And I'm not going to embellish this layout too heavily. I want to have lots of white space, so I'm just going to add a few flowers and a few butterflies, and obviously a few more sequins. So I'm backing my photo onto white cardstock here. That's to give it a bit of separation and just kind of help it stand out a bit. I'm also going to add a layer of black cardstock behind that because I felt like the white was just a bit sort of out of place. And I'm going to have elements of black on the page with my title and my embellishments, so the black will work really well and tie everything together nicely. So this is where I'm thinking about my title. I've got these they're not puffy stickers, but they kind of are, the title sheet from Vicky Boutin's Colour Study collection, and I've not used any of them yet. I've got the whole sheet left by the look of it. So I wanted to have my title as Happy Memories, but it took me a little while to decide on the placement. I moved it about a couple of times. I really liked Memories on the kind of side there, have it going vertically on the white. But I couldn't find a place where I was happy to have the word happy, if that makes sense. And I thought I'd leave it where it was and I'd start embellishing, and maybe once I had some embellishments on the page it wouldn't look so odd, but I really just didn't like it. So I do end up moving Memories to the other side of my shaker pocket, still on the side and kind of going vertical, but just on the other side. And I'm adding some craft foam just underneath where my photo is going to sit, just so that my photo is raised up to the same level as that shaker pocket. Just giving it a shake to make sure my sequins are at the bottom before I go sticking anything to the top of it, because I do press quite hard sometimes and I didn't want to get all my sequins trapped up the top there, so I just gave them a quick shake. This is where I'm just moving that title now, so I've moved it over to the right. I decided to keep Happy up the top there. And now I'm going to get to adding a few embellishments, and like I said, I'm not going mad. I've had this collection ages now, and I've got loads of things fussy cut from it and left over from other layouts and things, which saved a lot of time today. I was going to use a few of those vellum circles from that foiled vellum sheet, but I wasn't liking that it was introducing too many new colours, like there was yellows, greens, reds, and I didn't want that many colours, and I just really didn't like the way they looked. So at the moment I've got a few on the page, but they're gonna come off in a minute. I've got a few of those black and white butterflies, so that's the reason I added that layer of black behind my photo, because I knew I was going to use those butterflies. I use them with every colour study layout. I just absolutely love them, so I knew I was going to bring in those little pops of black. And then I found that kind of half butterfly I had, and I think that's one of the cut apart sheets. I've never used it, but I just thought it was really pretty, and it had a lot of the colours that I'm using on this layout in it. It still had a few others. It's got orange and yellow in it that I didn't really want on the page, but I just thought it went really nicely, and because I've got other butterflies as well, it kind of fit in. And then I decided I did want to bring some yellow in, so I've got some of the flowers from one of the pattern papers. I had some fussy cut and a couple of them were half flowers, but I've managed to use those up, so I never throw anything away. If I've got like half a butterfly or half a flower, you can just tuck them underneath things as kind of layered embellishments and things, so I never throw half of things away. And that roll of stuff you just saw there on my desk, those are the Tabby Pop Dots. Those things are amazing. They've got little tabs to peel back, just makes it so much easier, especially if you struggle with your fingers like I do. And again, that link in the bottom, you get 15% off your Tabby Pop Dots as well. So I'm really lucky. I've got a whole roll of them at the moment, but they do make life so much easier, and I love the dimension they bring as well. They were a little bit too big to use behind those flower petals, so I am having to resort back to my little square foam pads for that. It's just a little bit trickier for me to get the backing off of those. But yeah, just for smaller things, they're quite handy to have. With my butterflies, I've only stuck the bodies down with glossy accents, and I've left the wings kind of flapping free so that it looks like they've just landed on my page. Just makes them look a bit more realistic and introduces some lovely dimension to the page. Now, I did say earlier on in the video I was going for lots of white space today, but the left hand side of the page was just looking really bare and unfinished to me. I always do this. If I offset a design to one side, I always end up looking at the other side and thinking it just needs something, and I end up filling that side as well. But I felt like it needed something to balance it. So I've cut 3 strips from the same pattern papers that I made the other strips with. I've cut the blue one 12 inches long, so it's going to go the whole length of the page. And then the sort of tealy colour and the purple I've cut slightly shorter lengths. All 3 different lengths, but I'm going to have them kind of layered on top of each other like so. And I've distressed all the edges of those again, just to keep it sort of in keeping with the rest of the layout. It's all distressed on the right hand side, so I wanted it all distressed on the left. I'm going to bring in another one of those butterflies over on the left there. I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up because I hate working on a messy desk. I need space so that my mind can think. I just can't stand working in a mess. So a quick bit of a tidy up there. I've got these little puffy stickers from the Colour Study collection. I'm just adding a few of those. So I've got some purple hearts and some stars in that kind of turquoisey colour. Now I'm going to add some more sequins just above and below that butterfly. So in this mix you get different shades of blue and purple. You get some that are metallic, some that aren't, and they're all different sizes as well, which works brilliantly. I love the variation you get in the SpiegelMom mixes. And what I've done with the left hand side here is I've started off with the largest sequin closest to the butterfly, and then as you get further out the sequins get smaller. So in effect I've probably used one of every sequin in the set, above and below, but I just love the effect of having the largest sequin first and coming out to this kind of tapering off to the smaller sequins. And then on that blue strip I've just added 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom in the same way, largest one first and then kind of tapering down to the smaller ones. And I've just used glossy accents to stick those down because I find that really holds sequins really well, and then when I'm trying to get them in my page protectors in my albums they don't ping off or anything. So glossy accents is always my kind of go-to adhesive for sequins. So everything's in place now on the page. I'm just going to finish off with some splatters because I do love my mixed media, and if I've created a layout and I've not used any mixed media I do like to always add splatters. So I've pulled out the Shimmers Vibes I think in Jenny B Blue, and that matches that turquoisey paper really well. And then I've pulled out a couple of Lindy's Magicals, or not Lindy's Magicals, Starburst sprays they're called, sorry, and they've got really loads of shimmer in, like ground up glitter. So I've pulled out a purple one, a kind of light blue one to match the colour in my photo of my little boy's coat, and then a darker shade of turquoisey green just to finish it off. So all the colours that appear in the photo and the pattern papers. And then that's me done. So I'll give you some close-ups here. I love how that shaker pocket looks, and I just love all the colours in this layout. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's given you some inspiration. If so, please do hit the subscribe button below. And if you're watching this video on my personal channel, you might not know, but SpiegelMom Scraps have their own YouTube channel, and all the design team post their videos on there. So follow them as well to get inspiration from the rest of the design team. Like I said, there will be a link in the description box below to the store. Save that link, that will give you a 15% discount every time you shop in the store, but only if you use that link. But thanks again for joining me. I'll leave you with the rest of the close-ups and I'll see you next time.